I'm doing very well. How you doing today?
Doing good. I have Odin with me. I just fed him a big piece of fish, and he is our resident male. He's about 9 to 9.5 years old, and after he comes back over here, we'll continue with our show. Here he comes. Over on your right, all the way in the corner, is Ollie. She's our 2-year-old. Need I say more? No. Anybody know how 2-year-olds act? Yeah, that's what we're dealing with right there. And this one right here beside me is Betty. She's our youngest otter. She was rescued on Valentine's Day this year and came here to live with us at the aquarium in late March. So she's learning the ropes about the adults and what's going on in here and all the different demographics with our otters. One of the reasons why we work so closely with them is because we do have several otters that have different ages and they have different personalities and behaviors. We try to train them to work with us every day and have a good trusting and working relationship. We also train them and work with them for their health care. That's called husbandry. It's the name of our department. It's just a fancy word for animal health care. We can ask the otters to come up on deck. We can touch their heads, their entire bodies, just like Kristen's doing right there with Ollie. That's the behavior she's been working on for a long time. Because remember, otters are related to badgers, wolverines, and weasels. So if agitated, they can be aggressive pretty quickly. But we have a really good group of otters that we've worked with. We actually raised Ollie since she was about 10 weeks old. So Kristen worked with her a lot. And she's worked with Ollie to develop these basic husbandry skills. She can touch her flippers and touch her entire body. We're getting ready to work on an open mouth behavior with her. But with Brooke, our other female that's in back, we can open her mouth, brush her teeth for her if there's any irritation in her gums or if her teeth need to be brushed. A lot of the food for the otters in the wild has shells on it, different coverings that help keep their teeth clean and their gums healthy. So we need to train the otters to work with us in their health care. We can use a stethoscope with them. We can use an ultrasound. We can do a lot of different things with them just because we're able to work with them and manage their health care. Physical activity is very important for our otters as well, because if you think about their daily life in the kelp forest, they look for food all day long at the bottom of the kelp forest. So they have to swim down, forage, swim back up. So they do that all day long. In addition to that, every otter in the kelp forest has an individual micro-territory that they need to protect from other otters. And also predators. They avoid predators all day long too. So they're very busy animals. So Kristen's working with Ollie, and we have different water behaviors that we can ask them to do. We can ask them to spin. Good boy, Odin, nice job. We can even ask them to jump up out of the water. Good boy. So that takes some physical effort. We try to replicate a lot of their daily activity. Different behaviors such as a retrieval behavior. We mentioned before how they would go to the bottom of the kelp forest and look for food all day long. Odin's going to dive down and get me a toy out of the bottom there. So they kind of help us keep their exhibit clean too if we want to trade out the toys. So he'll bring that toy up to the top and give it to me. Can I have it? Push it up a little bit more. Oh, you're good. I'll just take that. So they'll swim to the bottom and get an object and bring it back up, which takes some physical effort on their part. Third reason why we work with them so much is for their mental stimulation or mental challenging and mental exercise. We want to make sure they're curious and stimulated during their training sessions mentally. We try to change the area in the exhibit where we work with our otters. We have them follow us around. We change the toys in the exhibit. We do as much as we can to make these sessions interesting to our otters. What we're going to do is give you guys an example of how we work with our otters mentally. We have a shape for every otter that's in our exhibit. Every otter has an individual shape they come to that kind of serves as their name tag. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take it a step further than just bringing the shape into the exhibit. We're going to have Odin swim across the exhibit, identify his shape, as opposed to the star or the cross. Do you have your volunteers, Joe?
I do. I have Nicole today with me. She's going to be helping me out.
Perfect.
Excellent. Nicole, are you ready? Let's go ahead and place our shape right above the water. Move yours a little. Perfect. Right there.
There you go. Odin, are you ready? Target. You should go right to his shape and not go anywhere near the other one. Good boy. Nice job. I'm going to give him one more piece of food while he's there at the shape. If you want to take the shape and pull it away, he's going to come back to me. That's part of the behavior as well. Very good. If you want to switch those, or you're not facing. You got your back to me in front of the office. Look, I see it. So what we're doing is we're not trying to trick him. We want to make sure he thinks about the behavior, because if we put the shape in the same spot every day, every session, it would just be out of habit. So now I think give him one more piece of food. You guys ready? Very good. Target. He should go to his shape. Good boy. Nice job. He even touched it for me. Very good. Thank you for helping me work with Odin today. You got to train an otter this afternoon. So that's a little bit about how and why we work with our otters. Joe, I'll pass it back to you for a little bit. I'm going to see how much food little Betty has here, and then I'll give you a nod in just a second.
Sounds good, Jimmy. Let's give a great big hand for our volunteer, Nicole, today. She did a very good job. And also for Odin, he did a very good job as well. Now, I got a question for everybody in the audience today. How many people like to eat? Anyone? All right, I'm going to have a good dinner tonight then. I'll have all of your food that you don't want to eat. Anyone out of those one like to eat a lot? A couple like to eat a lot. Perfect, perfect. I'll let you know you're nowhere close to our sea otters. Our sea otters eat about 25% of their body weight every day. To put that in perspective for you, if you weigh 100 pounds, that means you have to eat 100 quarter-pound hamburgers every day just to keep up with our sea otters. The reason why they eat so much is because they have an extremely fast metabolism that keeps their core temperature very warm in that cold climate that they do live in up in the northern Pacific. Now, they do live in the kelp forest, and how they do forage for food, I'm sure you've seen it before, but I'll kind of give you a rundown of everything. They'll go down to the bottom, and as you saw when they retrieve those toys, they'll go retrieve a food that they like. It could be an abalone, it could be a sea urchin, clam, mussel, any slow-moving object with most of the time with a hard shell is definitely going to be one of their favorites. While they're down there, they'll also find something like a shell or a rock, and basically like that would be their tool. So they'll take both of those items up to the top of the water. They'll float right on their backs. They'll use their belly, almost like a dinner table. They'll put that sea urchin on it or whatever it may be, and they'll crack it open with their tool, and they'll get that meat that's inside. It's very cool to see. Our animals practice it all the time. They've actually, back in the day, they found out ways to pull off pieces of their habitat, and they would make scratches on the glass, kind of letting us know they still knew what they were doing. So they don't have any hard objects in there anymore. Reason why is because those hard objects in the glass don't mix very well. We prepare all of their food for them, but they do know those habits, and we do ask them to do those for us every once in a while.